Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of Code Sprint C. At this point, Code Sprint B is done. You've gotten feedback from me on your final projects, you've gotten feedback from your peers on your final projects, and overall there's some really cool work that came out of Code Sprint B. I was impressed with what the class is able to pull off as a whole. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that you're still excited about your projects and still excited about bringing them over into Code Sprint C. So this week is going to be a little bit of a lighter week because of the holiday. So we're not going to have our class meeting on Friday, that optional class meeting, and the homework assignment is a little bit smaller this week in scope than the previous week. So let me flip over to the Canvas view here. So we've got our overview, start there, that's where you're watching this video. And then there are 2 assignments this week. One is a practice assignment and one is a participation assignment. So this practice assignment, you'll be going through and you will be building out the rest of the login system for the movie rating application. So you're now going to be refactoring your application so that your data lives under the user's account, so that when you log in, each user gets their own data. And then the thing that I want to talk about a little bit longer is, so your participation assignment for this week is a brainstorm for your final project in Code Sprint C. Final project in Code Sprint C, you'll take your project from A, B, and keep working on it, and you'll have a requirement that has to be there. So you have to have custom hooks and a login system, and that's stuff that you will have covered and know how to do by the end of week 2 material. So you can start putting that into your final project as soon as you want and start front loading some of that work. So that's one requirement. The other requirement is to have one additional significant feature here. Significant is in quotation marks because that means different things in different contexts. So here I'm going to give you a couple of examples of things that would be like a reasonable scope. So significant here means you're not just tweaking some CSS and considering it done as a feature. It's like you're adding some new functionality to your application. So the homework assignment for this week is to just start brainstorming what that could be, what you would be excited about adding to your application, what folks have given you feedback on that seems like a good feature for you to add to your application. Things along those lines. So you're going to be brainstorming, you're going to be posting, we'll be giving each other feedback, and don't stress too much at this point about having the perfect idea. We're just trying to get the brainstorming process rolling here. So I've got a couple of examples that are possible reasonable scopes for that feature. So remember, we're still learning, so the idea of a reasonable scope is something that is close to things that we have done before, that's a little bit further, going a little bit further. So we will be talking about Electron next week and how to build desktop applications using the same skills that you've learned already. So how to use React, HTML, and CSS. So if you're interested in that aspect, you could take what we do in week 3 and apply it to your project and build a desktop version of your application as your feature. You could also do something like building out a user account page where the user, after they log in or sign up to your account, to your application, they can start entering things like their name, their age, the rest of the sort of stuff that goes in a normal profile. Another thing that I noticed that a lot of you could use in your application, so I've listed it here, is updating your kind of listing page to feature drop-downs that allow the user to sort the data in multiple ways. So it might be that you have a drop-down that allows you to sort by different ratings. So the drop-down has kind of in Amazon, when you're searching, you can search for 3+ stars, 4+ stars, 5+ stars. So you could have a drop-down that allows you to sort by rating, filter by rating. And you could have another drop-down that allows you to change some of the sorting so that it is sorted by rating from ascending or descending order or title or release year. So giving the user some ways to better explore the data that they've entered into your application. And then the last one here as an example would be extending the application to allow the user to have 2 different types of documents that are stored in separate collections. So maybe we built this movie app together, and it makes sense to also allow the user to enter books into the application as a separate collection, and have all of those within one application. So that would be another thing that you could think about. And keep in mind, these are all just examples. These aren't necessarily the thing you have to do, but if you're looking for something and you're kind of struggling to come up with an idea, these are some things that I think are reasonable for folks to tackle in this class. So you'll be coming up with a couple sentence description of what your feature is, posting that to Teams, and then submitting a screenshot here. And so your description is going to have, or your post is going to have a description of your feature, what you think you'll need to build out that feature. So does this involve refactoring your React components that you already have? Or does this involve designing new React components? Or does this involve designing some new part of your database and writing asynchronous programming to talk to that part of the database? You're doing an initial sketch of what you think you'll need to build that feature and how challenging that feature is going to be to build. Your best guess at how challenging that'll be. And keep in mind, we're really, this is the initial brainstorm. So like what you're putting down now is not a contract. I'm not holding you to building this. And your idea will likely change as you get feedback from me and feedback from your peers. I'll be coming through and trying to help folks make sure that they're staying within scope. After you turn this in, I'll be going through in week 3 and giving you some feedback, and your peers will be giving you feedback. So your idea will likely change over the next couple of weeks, and that's perfectly fine. That's part of the process. Okay, so that's basically it for this week. You've got a practice assignment, you've got a participation assignment, no class meeting because of Thanksgiving, but you can always reach out if you have questions at any point. You can reach me in Teams or in email or in Canvas. So other than that, I will leave it there and see you next week.